On the night of August 16, 1951, a quiet French village lost its mind. People ran screaming through the streets, convinced they were on fire. A man leaped from a second-floor window, certain he was being chased by tigers. Children woke up shrieking about snakes pouring out of the walls. And in the local asylum, the doctors had no idea what they were looking at. This is the story of Pont-Saint-Esprit and the bread that made an entire village go insane. Pont-Saint-Esprit was a sleepy town on the banks of the Rhône River. Population, a few thousand. Life revolved around the church, the market, and the local bakery of Monsieur Roch-Briand. On August 16th, residents began eating bread freshly baked from that one bakery. Within hours, they started getting sick. First, nausea, vomiting, the kind of sickness you dismiss as bad luck. But then, something else started happening. They started seeing things. Over 500 people in that village were struck. 500. One man, a 65-year-old farmer, tried to drown himself in the Rhône. He was convinced the river was calling his name. A young woman was found hiding under her bed, scratching the floor, whispering that angels were trying to take her. A teenage boy ran 4 kilometers barefoot through the countryside, screaming, before collapsing in a field. Seven people died. Dozens were locked inside the local asylum, which had never seen anything like this. The doctors kept using the same word in their reports, over and over. Inexplicable. But what kind of bread does this to a human being? Investigators quickly pointed to ergot. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye and other grains. When accidentally milled into flour, it produces compounds closely related to LSD. It causes burning sensations in the limbs, which medieval peasants called St. Anthony's fire. It causes visions, convulsions, madness. Ergot poisoning had caused mass hysteria events throughout European history. The Salem witch trials. Some historians believe ergot was involved, so the case was closed. Contaminated grain. Tragic accident. Move on. Except, one American journalist refused to accept that answer. In 2009, American investigative journalist H.P. Albarelli Jr. published a book called A Terrible Mistake. He had spent years digging through declassified CIA documents, and what he found was deeply unsettling. He uncovered a CIA document, a transcript of a conversation between a CIA officer and a scientist from the Sandoz Chemical Company, the same company that first synthesized LSD. In that document, Pont-Saint-Esprit is mentioned by name. The conversation referred to it as the secret of Pont-Saint-Esprit. Albarelli's theory. The CIA had been running covert experiments on unsuspecting civilian populations as part of Project MKUltra, their infamous mind control program. Pont-Saint-Esprit was not an accident. It was a test. But if a government was capable of poisoning a village to test a drug, what else were they testing, and on who? Now, mainstream historians still lean toward the Ergot theory. The fungus was real. The symptoms match. But the Ergot explanation has holes. Survivors reported symptoms that don't perfectly align with ergot poisoning, the specific type of visual hallucinations, the extreme terror, the rapid onset. Ergot poisoning typically looks different. And then there's the CIA document, which the CIA has never publicly explained. The truth is, we may never know what really happened in Pont-Saint-Esprit. The survivors are mostly gone. The documents that remain are partial. And the CIA doesn't exactly hold press conferences about its worst experiments. What we do know is that 500 human beings suffered terribly. 7 died. And to this day, the small village on the Rhone keeps that memory buried. The villagers of Pont-Saint-Esprit thought they were being possessed by demons. But the real monsters were human. Just like the terrifying day in 1518, when an inexplicable psychological plague forced hundreds of people to dance uncontrollably. 4 days. 4 weeks. Until their hearts gave out. You need to see this to believe it.